INFJs sometimes have a cold. So if you can't handle my voice, I see you next week. If you can, let's talk about ghosting. And I'm not even talking about ghosting in a romantic setting, although it might happen as well. But we as INFJs experience this thing where people move away from us when things become real, when we choose ourselves, when we stay in our truth. And very often we don't even know what happened. We think we've shared some common truths with that person. This can be even a coworker, and okay, they're there, but they're psychologically distancing themselves to me. Or I've seen it with friends the last years in particular, where there's this notion of, I tried to reach out a couple of times, but there's always this sense of it's just not working. And this is not just a question of timing. This is really a sense of people have a hard time staying in your space the more you choose you as an INFJ, because you embody authenticity. You embody taking steps that make you happy. And if that person has had a closer relationship with you, they know that you can sense that they are not tapping into that level for themselves. And when people sense that, they unconsciously move away from you because it's too triggering. And it's time that we don't suffer over this, that we don't patiently wait and, give them another chance and see what's going on, but to actually focus on what is in our control, meaning this is a conscious choice of ours. We are clearing the room of everything that doesn't allow us to be all that we are. And that means that there's no room for us doubting that we are allowed to be ourselves. And if people don't feel comfortable in that space, then it's their prerogative to, go on their path. But we're no longer taking on guilt or asking ourselves what happened and really long after this. We just know that's part of their journey, and we're focusing on the next step that we're going to take on our journey. So let's look into 5 signs that you're not being ghosted in the sense of, people just don't care and it wasn't like anything interesting to them, but you're actively clearing the room and you're actively making the choice that this is the kind of energy you allow in your space. And if people can't reciprocate that, then that's okay. Let's move on. Before we get started, I want to remind you, I created a new poster for you on the INFJ Mastery. You can download it through the link in the description. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide today. Everything you need to know in order to get started, you can find through the links in the description. Sign number 1. You stop making room for people who don't show up fully in your presence. This is all about being very conscious what kind of energy you allow in your space. So often we give people the benefit of the doubt, or we want to make space for people who show up differently than we are. And the truth is, people are allowed to show up in any kind of way that they like. But as long as people are not showing up in a way that makes you feel good, then they don't have to be in your space. And this is not about cutting people off or being hyper independent, because most of the time we can make space for other people. We can make space for their individuality. We can make space for their point of view. That's all good. But you deserve to be seen and accepted the way you are. And the main ingredient in that aspect is that you choose yourself. That you say, I'm going down my path, I'm living life the way I see fit, and there's no moral code in my life that makes me feel like I cannot show up fully the way I am. And this is my biggest value in life, that I will allow myself my authenticity. And I can allow it to you, of course, like this is not on me to decide. But if you do not like me the way I fully am because it triggers something in you, then I respect that, but I know what is most important. So I'm not going to stay in that space and keep leaving the door open for people who might wake up to the conclusion that, we actually can be really great friends. It stops now. People either know who you are or they don't want to know who you are. It's not on you to prove it to them. It's not on you to show it to them. Be okay with going down your path. Everything that you've encountered has built you into the person that you are. You're not alone. Connect with us, be who you are, and make it inevitably clear, first and foremost to yourself, but also through everybody in your life, energetically even, that you're not open to any kind of interaction that makes you feel like you're less than. It's just not happening. So that means it does not matter why people are ghosting you. It does not matter what they're going through or that you're, unconsciously triggering them. The main point is, though, this is not a respectful behavior towards you, and you can respect that, but that is not a person that belongs in your close psychological space. Sign number 2, your boundaries are not just words, they're energy. I've experienced this very often with INFJs who said, well, but I've said to them, you can't treat me like this. I've said to them, this is not kind, or why are you doing this, or all this kind of behavior. These are words. This is something that you say. This is not something you actually live by. And it might be the same thing. Like, I'm not saying it's not, but the energy is a different one. The energy is, I'm not allowing you in my mind. I'm not allowing you in my space. I have blinders on when it comes to this. This is the vision I see. And either you fit into this narrative or you don't. And please let me remind you, we're not forcing anybody to do anything. We're not being bullies. This is not something you ever have to feel bad about, because all you're saying is, I'm willing to put effort into this friendship, into this relationship, into this connection. And if you're not willing to put the same kind of effort into it, like, all good, I respect you, just let's move on. Like, I'm not even keeping that space open. I'm focusing on something new. I will deal with the loss in my way. I can accept that. I can make it part of my journey, be thankful for the connection that we had, for the memories that we share, for the experience we had. And then it's like, I'm ready for the next thing. People are used to us being there and having their backs and loving them and, having compassion for them, even if they turn their backs on us. And this is what has to shift. And this is the energy they will feel. Because yes, we can still have an open heart and, give people the benefit of the doubt, but only when they show up in a respectful way. If they continue treating us this way, then we're not going to look at the underlying reasons or that we used to have a connection. This is what they're actively doing, and this is the kind of reaction they are going to get in return. Because on the one hand, you might say, oh, but that will make me a cold person, or that will make me not compassionate. Well, you're not being compassionate towards yourself. You first have to make sure that you protect your space before anything else, or you're going to get lost, and it's going to really bring everybody down around us. Sign number 3. People who thrive on superficiality can't even be around us. This is one of those things I've experienced so extremely that I can talk about this with 1000% certainty. I am showing up so authentically me all the time that people who are more superficial, people who have a problem with me showing up this way, they don't want to be around me. They don't. Like, they really move out of my way. That does not mean I can't have like small talk or have superficial conversations here and there. I'm not deep all the time. I like to like goof around and like talk about unimportant things. But if people have seen this part of me and have a problem with it, they cannot handle this. Like, I have really gotten to a place where I'm not holding back. If I need to express myself in my authentic way, in the way I see myself and how I want to show up, and I know this makes another person uncomfortable, then that's the case. That's how it's going to be. Like, I'm willing to lose people over this. I'm willing to lose superficial belonging in society because of that. And once you're at that space, this whole ghosting thing doesn't even happen. Like, it has either happened before or it has happened as part of the transition. But the more you're like, clearly, this is who I am, this is what I do, people choose their sides really, really quickly. And then people sometimes come closer to you, like, after a while, but it's not so much this back and forth of, oh, I should keep a door open for people or not. Like, it becomes very clear. And when you have such clarity in your life, you don't ever feel that ghosting aspect. Like, people never gotten close to you to begin with. So, it's never going to be a ghosting situation anyway. Sign number 4, you're no longer an option, you're the standard. And this is not about some superiority complex where you say, I'm the standard and I'm the best thing ever. And like, you either see that and respect that or move out of my way. This has nothing to do with that. It's just that you, by definition, are a deep individual. You like to go deep in certain situations. You like to connect with people on a deep level. And so often people see like this is something that is nice to have. Like, if I need it, I will come your way. But if I don't, I'm just going to do my own thing. And this is what has hurt us so much in the past, that we're an option in a sense of, yeah, people need that, but they will try to be okay without it. And then we're always there if they need to like have that deep connection. And when they don't, like, they can do whatever they want. Like, that's not happening anymore. There is a price to pay to be in our inner circle. And so often we have not made it clear before that there's a price to pay. We're willing to stand on business. We're willing to say, either rise to the occasion, either be willing to stay with me in that depth when I need it and when I want to talk about it and when I want that connection, or, just move away. I'm not going to make this process comfortable for you because I'm afraid of, losing you, because I'm afraid that I'm too much. It's okay. We don't have to be on the same level with things. Like, you have to imagine it like this. Like, my husband is an ISTJ. This is not somebody who goes into deep, poetic worlds with me. But that's a person who knows that this is a part of me and who accepts that and who can stay with me in that space if I need it, and I can express myself and be myself like the way I am. I don't have to alter myself. I don't have to make myself small in order to not make him uncomfortable. So you don't have to feel like, oh, this only works with people who are like on my wavelength. Like, people have to be okay with you showing up the way you are, and they can stand in their truth just as easily, because that's what it takes. It's not about somebody being as deep as you are or like going through life the same way you do. It's about somebody being as secure in themselves as you are with yourself, so they can be around you and not get triggered by it. And the more clear you make it, you're not an option in people's life, either there's going to be mutual respect and you feel respected the way you deserve, or this is just not happening. It's not going to be a one-way street anymore where you have compassion for other people, but you don't expect the same thing back because you think they don't have the capacity for it. If they don't, they don't, but then they don't belong in your life. Sign number 5, you walk away without guilt, and that makes all the difference. Guilt has been such a big factor in my life. I've been stuck on people for years because of guilt, because I thought that I did something wrong, that the way I am hurt them, that I revealed some truth to them that was so painful and they felt so betrayed, and that it was my fault, and I could have just shown up better or been a better friend or had more understanding or not lured them into the truth, whatever it may be. And once you really get to a place where you understand, this is not your fault, man. Like, I am the way I am and I belong on this earth just like everybody else, and you got to deal with it. Like, I'm not the reason that me being myself makes you so uncomfortable. It makes you so uncomfortable because it shows you parts about yourself that you haven't dealt with yet. And that's just the way it is. And I'm not going to hold myself back anymore. This guilt comes in so many ways because we take responsibility for how we make other people feel. But all you're doing is being yourself. And even if you weren't yourself, even if you just, acted in a way that just made you feel good in the moment, it's still not your responsibility how people feel about you. It's about, how can I show up with integrity? How can I show up in a way that makes me feel good about myself? And yes, we're going to make mistakes. And yes, I've seen that I've acted in ways where I overused my power, and I don't want to do this anymore. I know what I'm really good at, and I know that I might get people into trouble. And this is not something I'm doing now, something I might have been doing in my mid-20s. And I learned from it, but I'm not feeling guilty for it anymore. Like, you apologize once, you move on. When people continuously want to guilt trip you for the way they feel because you are showing up as yourself, like, that is a recipe for disaster. And, people who are in pain, they like to do that because it just seems the easiest relief. You're open to being the scapegoat. You're open to being the bad guy in the situation in a way of, oh, I did something wrong, and why are they not forgiving me, and what did I do wrong? Like, we're not doing this anymore. You don't need to feel guilty for choosing you. You don't need to feel guilty for you living in your power and living in the gifts that you just have. Like, that's who you are. We have parts of us that are a struggle and that make life more difficult for us. And we also have parts about ourselves that make life easier for us than it is for other people. And so there's no need to apologize or to feel guilty for you being okay with who you are and how you live life. And when you walk away not feeling guilty, people will stop blaming you for things that aren't your responsibility to begin with. Remember, if you want some more help in really honing in on how to tap into your authenticity, how to live your life to your fullest potential, how to experience life in the way that makes you feel fulfilled, then get the free poster on the INFJ Mastery. And if you want to take to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know you can find through the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.